Hey guys, and welcome to another video. Today I have my confetti cake bracelet. I named it confetti cake because you can't see the background bands as well, so it just looks like little sprinkles of confetti-ness. But yeah, confetti cake. So this is a hook-only bracelet, and the name matches my nails. My nails look like confetti cake. And yeah, it's, I call it an intermediate design, and for my bracelet I used about 37 background bands, which is like the gold, blue, pink, all those colors. But I didn't count up how many bands I used for the white, but it's going to be a lot more, like you're going to need a lot of white bands. But anyways, let's get started. So first off, I'm going to take one of my first background bands. I'm going to be using groovy tie-dye bands for the whole thing, for the whole background, and also going to be using white for the white lacy parts. So you're just going to take your first background band, put it on your hook just straight up like this, and for this first band you're going to use 4 stitches per side, but throughout the rest of the bracelet you will be using 3 stitches per side. But anyways, for a stitch, you just pull a white through this band, but put the confetti band and the white band both back on your hook. And to continue, you're going to take the band closest to the end of your hook, slide it over the confetti color, pull the confetti color off and the white that you slid over, but just put the confetti color back on your hook. So it looks like this. You're going to do this 3 more times. So you're just going to pull another white through, both bands on your hook. You're only going to pick up the confetti color and just leave the other white be. Pull the end closest to your hook over, and then pull these 2 off, but just put the confetti color back on your hook. And you won't have to worry about anything coming off the bottom here. And do this 2 more times. Once you get the hang of it, it should be pretty easy. And 1 more time. And now you're just going to put this other end of your confetti color on your hook, and repeat the same process on the other side, again with 4 white bands. So you pull a white band through, but this time it's reversed, so you pull the band farthest away from your hook over, put this other white on. And repeat this 3 more times. Now 2 more. Then 1 more. So now it should look something like this. And now you're going to do your next section. You're going to attach 2 bands to this one here, this one band, and I guess all the ones wrapped around it. So you're going to take your next background band, pull it through these first 2 bands here, a white and a background band color. And then you're going to either pinch off or use a C-clip to clip, which is what I'm going to do right now while you work. Anyways, I'm going to work with this one here first. So you're going to do the same process, which is a little pulling over deal. And basically, when you're doing the right section of a band, when you do this whole white wrapping section, you are going to pull the left section of the band over and then later take it off. But when you're doing the left side of a band, you're going to pull the right section of the white over and pull it off. Just thought I would mention that. Here's the last one I'm doing for this side, since we're doing only 3 from now on. And then I'm going to put this other band back on my hook so I can easily work with it. Again, taking 3 white bands, doing the whole wrapping sequence. Again, for the left side, you're going to pull the right over and off. Now that I'm done with both sides of this band, I'm going to flip everything on my hook over. Gotta be very careful for this part, since the whites will like uncross themselves sometimes. So gotta be careful. Grab every little piece. And then right here I'm going to pull a background band through this first white and the first background color. And I'm going to repeat the same process again. I'm going to clip this one off for now so I can work with the one on the inside. Again, same process. Wrapping 3 white bands onto this background band here. One more. But before you do the other side, now that these middle 2 have both gotten their whites wrapped around them, I'm going to pull a background band through all 4 of these middle bands. And then, since I like working with the middle ones and then slowly attaching outside bands, I'm going to pull this left band off my hook and attach it on the C-clip along with the other band that I attached earlier. And make sure you don't like mix these up and put the wrong band back on your hook before you're ready to. And again, going to do the same wrapping process. Now this section of the band is the right section of the band, so you're going to pull the left over and off. Now this bracelet is similar to the dragon scale. Basically it's just a dragon scale with all this white business added. So going along with the normal sequence of the dragon scale, since these last 2 here are both different bands, different halves of a band, and they've both been wrapped, now I'm going to pull a border band or a background band through them. All the white parts and both the background colored parts. Excuse me. And again, I'm just going to take this one off and attach it to the C-clip as well. And attach 3 white bands to here, like I normally do. And this is the right half of a band, so you pull the left over. I'm going to pick up the next band. Make sure that it is the next band and you're picking up the ones in the proper order. And you're going to attach your 3 white bands on the same way. Except since this is the other end of the band, the right side goes over. And then I'm going to put this part back on my hook. Loop on the 3 white bands. But since this part of your band is the left side of the band, I'm going to make sure the right white gets pulled over. And then I put this last band back on my hook. I'm going to attach my 3 white bands onto it. And this is the left part of the band, so I pull the right over. And then since these 2 bands here are not the same band, and they all have their white bands attached to them, I'm going to pull a background band through all of this. Basically I'm going to do the same here, attaching 3 white bands here, 3 here, and then I'm going to loop a band through these middle 2 since they're both different bands and they've both been wrapped with whites. And I'm just going to keep going in that same process. This bracelet, it's kind of hard to explain, honestly. I feel like this bracelet and the confetti cupcake bracelet are kind of weird to explain based on the hooking process and all. But if you've made the dragon scale, basically, this follows the same pattern. You have 2 outer bands, and then you loop a band through the middle parts of those outer bands, and then you loop a band through here and a band through here. So yeah, hopefully that's a good enough explanation for that, but basically the rule of thumb here is that if 2 bands are of a different halves of a band, and then you loop a band through all of those. Hope that was a good enough explanation. But basically you loop a band through 2 halves of a band and they're different bands. Hope that makes sense to y'all. But yes, so for example, these 2 parts, these 2 halves here, are a different band half. So I loop a band through that. And then on the sides, there will be the 2 halves of this middle band. There will be 1 half off to the left and 1 half off to the right, along with these 2 bands here. So then you'd loop a band through those 2 here and those 2 over here. Hopefully that makes sense. But anyways, I'm going to go off camera to finish this bracelet. And you can rewind if you need to rewatch the steps that I've done. And I will come back to show you how to finish the bracelet. Alright, so I've made my bracelet long enough to fit around my wrist. And now to finish it up, you're going to start finishing your bracelet when you notice that this C-clip is holding onto 2 bands. And when it seems like you're about to pull a band through these 2 pairs you have on right now, but instead you don't. You just put this first band back on your hook. Come on now. And you do your 3 band looping process on it. And you're pulling the right white over, because this is the left half of the band. And then you put the other one on your hook as well. And do the same 3 white band looping process. And after you complete all of that, you're just going to take one more weight, pull it through everything on your hook, and then take your clip, clip it, and then find the other end of your bracelet. And you're going to notice there are a bunch of bands down here and no clear, actual cap band. So you're going to notice two halves that can be pulled apart from each other. So you're going to look onto the halves from this angle. You're going to notice these two little lines in here. So you're just going to put your hook into them. And you're going to notice one line on each side. Each dividable side is what you're going to pick up. Then you're going to find your C-clip again. And I'm going to clip these two lines. And there's your bracelet. Hope you enjoyed. Bye!